everybody there?
Are you there, Mark?
Okay, looks like we're starting a new live stream, unfortunately.
Hopefully.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? So.
Hello?
So.
Hold on. Hello? Breathe, Raph. Stop being all terrified.
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Anyways.
Hello?
Hello yourself.
I can't think straight for nothing.
I don't hear you, Raph.
Yeah, this stinks.
You don't hear me. Oh my goodness. Holy crap, I'm coming
I was
through.
getting stuff set up.
Alright.
I can hear you, Wyn.
Yeah. This always happens. Like last show, this happened as well.
Technical
difficulties of the show.
Can you hear me now?
He's typing.
Checking
I was about to say,
the
God
button.
damn it, Raph, did you accept Sandy?
Hello? Can you hear me now?
No, I can't.
Okay, can you guys hear
So how
me?
you doing? I see your artwork a lot.
Dear listeners,
Hello?
not sure what Raph has planned for us tonight, as this was a kind of sudden and short notice, but I'm sure you're in for a treat.
Hello? Hey everybody, welcome to Livestream of Consciousness. I'm your host, Enshohma, the one and only sad man with a sad plan. Oh, damn it. Okay, so that was a new theme song created by our friend Brayton of Brandzant Films. Because every time we play the other song, we keep getting copyright claims. So I decided we're going to try to test that out. We're still going to play the original song at the end of tonight's live stream, just as kind of nice little farewell gift to everybody. But yeah, you'll hear the original at the end. But that one was entitled Technical Difficulties. And I will be doing a separate music video for it fairly soon. So, now, oh, chicken dinner. Oh, damn it. We just started. Oh, isn't this cute? Okay, guys, I wasn't done with the introduction yet.
Headphones, because I was using some
Hello?
Bluetooth ones, and every time I tried to adjust it,
Oh,
Nice.
no. Can you
Can you
guys
guys hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I didn't get a chance to finish the opening. Hello.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay. But yeah, this was our green room. I was supposed to come in soon, but we have 4 out of 5 people in. We might get somebody else later, but let's introduce tonight's special guest stars, starting with the new guy. Matt, that's you.
Oh, yeah, well, yes, I'm the
Okay.
new guy. Hello. I am Matt of MONSTROSITIES. That's me.
Awesome. Mark.
How you doing? My name is Mark. I have a YouTube channel called Why I Hate the World, where I talk about politics and culture and stuff. And another one called UCD Videos, where I talk about toys and video games. And me and Raph go way back, so thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And of course, Wyn.
Hello.
Right. And I'm Raph. Or that was a good show tonight. Good night, everybody.
God damn it, Raph.
All right. So, all right, but we are currently live. There's nobody in the chat area, and I might be able to bring in Andres a little later if we, if we start losing some steam in the halfway, or I don't know. We're just all fun. So
You're inviting that loser, really?
Yes.
Kaiju Noir of all people?
He just came back from psychology anti-mecha camp. So he will not be talking about giant robots like he used to, but so yeah, whatever. So how have you guys been doing lately? Without getting into anything dark or horrifically serious that might get us booted off of YouTube, right, Mark?
Yeah, I know.
Some on and off technical difficulties aside, can't really complain too much.
Okay, all right, and you, Matt?
Been pretty busy, man. I'm like juggling 4 or 5 different projects right now.
Oh my! I hope we're not taking time away from them.
Oh no! I'm just trying to figure out how it's all going to get done, but it'll all happen one way or the other.
Okay.
So.
All right, and of course, good old Mark, Marky Mark of the Funky Bunch.
That's right. Chilling, working on my artwork and trying to find gainful employment, the usual.
Okay.
Everything's still very nice and very well.
Right, and I've been doing a lot of spring cleaning today, and I've been doing a lot of spring cleaning, period. So I'm physically tired, but the brain is still willing. So I quoted that horribly wrong. So. All right, and I just made notations on my various Facebook groups. God, they almost rhyme, don't they? The names of these various websites. So we might get some people in the chat area, but although knowing our luck, it's gonna be just one guy asking the same questions over and over again. So what's your deal? Why are you here? So to start things off, since you're new to the show, Matt, and kind of what's the letter that comes before Z? Y level celebrity.
It's actually whatever comes after Z, you know?
Xxump.
Yeah.
The mysterious planet X of the alphabet.
Oh, jeez.
I remember once when I was in kindergarten, we were learning alphabets, and then Zomp, the letter Zomp, came floating into the classroom. It destroyed our assistant teacher, and then hung out right after Z for a little bit before leaving around 3 o'clock.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, she's okay. So, although she can only say the word Zomp over and over again for the last, however old I am.
Yeah, it changes you, man.
Yeah. You had an experience with the letter Zomp once, didn't you, Mark?
I've
you don't have to
secrecy
okay.
over that.
Okay, so
that's a need to know only. Sorry.
Right. Yes. Tonight's episode has been brought to you by the letter Zomp. Okay, so really bizarre, surrealist humor aside, though. As our Zomp level celebrity, Matt Burkett, you want to talk about how you started your channel, Monstrosities, and the success you've had with it? Also, ignore the chihuahua in the background.
Hi, Nico.
Success is debatable, but it's been a lot of fun for sure.
Mm-hmm.
God, almost 8 years ago now, maybe 8.5. I was getting really bored. We had just gotten off of doing the Channel Awesome stuff, and obviously Tokusatsu and kaiju stuff especially were a huge love. And it was just one of those things where it was like, hey, let's do something. Let's make it like a vlog style, and we could talk about anything. It could be editorials. It could be toy reviews. It could be anything, really. And that's pretty much what the channel has been over the course of its lifetime. I mean, it's changed from going from really having the editorial department to trying to do more educational stuff to doing just mainly live streams. And, we picked up, I'm very thankful for the people that watch us, because it's always a good time. And I think we have a solid little community, and it's just, it's a lot of fun. And every time I'm like, I'm going to quit this, I always seem to come back. So it's a lot of fun.
The curse of Zomp.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and a couple of nights ago, I actually did a live stream with Mark, our good old Mark here. Did we find out why we got kicked off? Was it all the nude pictures we were sharing of Abe Vigoda?
Nope. No idea.
Okay.
But the stream has been made available on my channel. It just ends very abruptly for no reason. So, one of the guy that was viewing it said that because there actually was like a couple people viewing. I was surprised. Said that it was a language warning, which I didn't know YouTube would just cut you for bad language, but we weren't really saying anything too outlandish there anyway. So I think it was the evil C word that got us cut, because we're talking about
cantaloupe.
Yeah, talking about medical stuff.
Oh,
that
okay.
kind of thing.
Okay, the coconut virus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of crazy because pretty much all of my streams are about that kind of content, and I've never been kicked before, so
Yeah, well,
something you said triggered the bot or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
I say it's biased. They heard you say Coca-Cola and they're Pepsi fans.
Yeah, and I can't handle this. I don't know. Choice of a new generation shit. I can't. Sorry.
yeah.
Are any of you guys old enough to remember New Coke?
Oh, I barely remember it, but do you want to share your horror stories on the front line? Oh.
I was born in 1985, so
Okay.
maybe vaguely.
That's when it was. Yeah. New Coke was. I mean, it just sucked. That's all. There really is no story to it. It was just horrible. And then
It
they went
sucked,
back to
the
classic
end.
Coke. The end. Exactly. It sucked. The end. It was an embarrassment.
Like I said, I was born when it came out, so I can't really say. Plus, my soda of choice was normally either root beer or Dr. Pepper, because those are the superior sodas.
But like the thing is, it sucked so bad that it became this like cultural phenomenon, and within a year they went back to Coca-Cola Classic, and then for like 10 years after that, Coca-Cola was Coca-Cola Classic, even when they stopped making New Coke. It was ridiculous.
Interesting. So.
Oh, I forgot something. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. So are you guys familiar with RC Cola? Because that's like my favorite of the sodas, but it's like nobody talks about it. And I guess it's
gonna be like, is that even still around?
Yes, it is still around, but it's not as well. Obviously, don't do commercials for it. I don't know. I guess it's like that kind of unpopular third choice that still sells, but not enough to be super famous. But then again, I live in California. We get a lot of material that a lot of other areas of America doesn't. Actually, I live in LA because I know Wyn and Mark live in California. And they probably, in fact, I will be sharing their social security information and addresses by the end of the show.
Shut up, Raph.
You're such a good friend, Raph. You're such a good friend.
I know. So, Wyn, remember that time you, me, and Mark murdered that guy with a rope and hit him in a chest?
Oh, don't bring me into this.
Okay.
Do not bring me into this.
You're right. You were in the corner going like, "What do you mean us? I was here the whole time."
So, what's going on? Is Raph doxing people here? Is that what's happening?
I'm revealing our deepest, darkest secrets. No, I was talking about RC Cola. Matt Burkett says that RC Cola has gone extinct in his region of the world. What's your experience with RC Cola, if any?
I actually haven't seen it around myself lately. I don't know. Do they stop making it?
No, they still make it. I think you got to be in. Holy crap! But you may be right. They may have stopped it. Let me do a Google search and find out if my favorite soda is still around. This is more distressing the time they discontinued Blue Pepsi.
I was gonna say my town's liquor store occasionally holds RC Cola, so I don't think it's completely gone out.
Okay.
But one soda I can say is extinct that I haven't seen in forever is frickin' Tab.
Yeah.
Tab.
Which is a damn shame, because from what I remember as a kid, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't the
Agree,
greatest in the
disagree there,
world,
man.
but it was soda. And when you're a kid, soda is soda.
Not a fan of Tab myself, but far be it from me to deny from anybody else.
I remember when they brought back Tab for a little bit in the 90s, and I had a can, and it was like seltzer water, I think is the best way to describe it. It's like, ugh.
It was very sweet. Very sweet.
Yeah, really?
Like, if I remember, it was kind of like brownish.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like tea, but with carbonation, if I remember. I mean, it wasn't that bad, I guess. I guess it was all right, but I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Surge, dude. Surge was the bomb. You ever have that?
That was
Kind of like an invitation, wannabe Mountain Dew stuff.
I remember Surge from when it was like big, like they advertised it all the time on MTV, and it was apparently the soda of choice for hackers who are fighting against the guy from Short Circuit. Get that reference? Oh my god.
You ever have something like Jolt or like brain damage or something like that?
I've tried Jolt. I haven't tried brain damage. So, which is a weird soda because it's just an iron pipe they sell in the aisles.
So like brain damage has like jalapeno in it and stuff. It's
Ugh.
really.
Where the hell do you find these sodas?
Jalapeno soda? That doesn't sound very good.
It's as nasty as it sounds, and it's actually like there's so much dye in it that afterwards you like poop blue. It's because I used to drink it, and then I started thinking, I'm like, this is probably not very good for you if this is not digesting correctly.
No shit.
So, yeah.
Get it?
Spoiler alert, it's made the same way Slurm was in Futurama.
Oh.
Slurm.
You drank milk from cows. I don't see what the difference is.
Can I have some Slurm, please?
Mm-hmm. So, any other terrifying soda stories we have as we're being advertised tonight by our friends at RC Cola, the lost world of drinks and refreshments?
You want to know what I missed? Those Shasta promos that had Mario characters on the cans. Like you had Mario Punch, you had Princess Toadstool Cherry, Yoshi Apple, and you had a Lemon Lime one for Luigi.
Oh,
Those are really good because I love the holy hell out of the cherry ones. On one hand, they're tasty. On the other, I ascertained this was before Mario 64 came out, but the more I think about it, because of her actual name, it would have made more sense to make it a peach soda because Princess Peach.
That's a missed opportunity right there.
Yeah. Oh, Shasta. If you thought RC Cola was obscure, Shasta, like, you can still find them in 99-cent stores here in Los Angeles, but, like,
Their black cherry soda is heaven.
Oh my goodness, not to mention their cream soda, but yeah, no, their black cherry I think is probably the best of the lot. So
yeah, that one's my favorite.
Yeah, so tonight we will only be talking about soda.
So I like the stuff. It's called Not Your Father's Root Beer, which is actually alcoholic root beer. I'm actually drinking it right now. It's like really good.
Okay.
Oh, I've had that. That's actually that is really good. I don't drink alcohol often, but the last time I did, it was actually a Not Your Father's Root Beer.
Yeah, I don't either really, but I don't know. I've been kind of maybe a little bit too much of these things. So.
Well, that's because you can't really taste the alcohol. It's dangerous.
Totally. I limit myself to like one every couple of days. I try not to. I'm too old to be partying, so.
Mm-hmm. We're all too old, so.
Welcome
Okay.
to the retirement home.
Right, so getting away from the wonders of soda, which is not good for you, but what the hell. I will admit, though, a nice replacement for soda I've been getting into lately is sparkling water beverages. And personal favorites come from CVS's store brand as well as Signature Selects versions, which come in a nice variety of colors. In fact, as we're talking, I am drinking Concord grape-flavored sparkling water. And
I've been drinking a lot of tea.
Yes, tea is also very nice. Is it natural tea or like Snapple type tea?
Natural tea, because my stomach's been bothering me, so I found this really delicious Lipton tea that's peppermint, fennel, and ginger to relax your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good, and it does help settle my stomach. Lipton's been making some really, really good teas. Like, there's a matcha mint one, there's the peppermint ginger one I just mentioned, and one I've been drinking to kind of calm myself down during stressful times is their Stress Less, which is a mixture of cinnamon, lavender, and chamomile. With a little bit of honey. It's really heckin' good.
Right. What about pizza? Talk about pizza too, in addition to soda, says Jugless Juggler. No.
I haven't had pizza in forever.
Oh my god. I've only... thankfully, we live near several decent pizza places. It's like most notably Pizza Show, which is a little expensive, but they make it fresh and the size and proportions are perfect. Unfortunately, they don't deliver. We had bad experience with Domino's pizzas because everybody who works at the Domino's, that's literally less than a block away from us. It's literally walking distance. They're run by idiots, so they spent like 2 hours trying to find our house. So,
Wait. You didn't have them delivered, did you?
yes, we had Domino's delivered. Yeah, and it sucks too because it's like this was long before the age of the Coco Vanille virus. And,
right. This is when you were allowed to walk around outside.
Yeah, and it's like I told my oh god, I forgot who it was who ordered a Domino's, but it's like I can go walk and get it, and they were afraid that I'd be jumped or something. So 2 hours later, it's like, oh, you guys live. That's a long, stupid story. It makes me sad about states of humanity, that we didn't get our pizza sooner. So
yeah, I haven't been out yet. I really, really, really want to go get sushi, and I'm debating whether or not we should go get it. I'm debating whether I want to take the risk. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But ever since all of this started, it's like I never realized how much I really miss going to the movies and how much I really miss eating out. Eating at restaurants is what I mean. Actually went and got my hair cut for the first time in 4 months, and I had to get an appointment and go wear a mask while we were doing it, and they had to trim around the mask and all this stuff. But it was I couldn't wait any longer. My hair was all long and scraggly, and and when you're middle-aged, your hair falls out when it's long. So I'm just God, it's gotta get it cut before I go bald. I don't know. So I feel so much better now.
Right. So how was the this is literally live stream of consciousness, Matt. We talk about whatever the hell we want.
Right.
But just a quick note before we get back to Mark's crazy haircut adventure.
That's it.
In honor of tonight's new guest, we will be showing a lot of images related to Ultraman Great, and right now there's behind the scenes photo of the world's fattest turtle monster Kodalar from Ultraman Towards the Future. So if you're all wondering,
awesome.
Yeah. So I found this on a Japanese website that was selling rare photos. It was like an eBay option type deal. Unfortunately, I don't have 1 billion yen on me, so I just saved as many images as I could. So you'll be seeing our fat little friend here throughout the night. So, okay, good old Kodalar. But anyways, so since this was your first haircut, Mark, was it different than usual? Obviously, because you're all looking at Kodalar right now. Then.
No, it just felt really good. It felt like something normal again. So, that's it, really. I don't really have a story. Sorry.
Okay, so, all right. What next? So, recently, Matt, you and your friends checked out Godzilla vs. SpaceGodzilla.
Jesus. Yeah. We did.
Yes. So it's like the great thing about you guys is when you watch Godzilla movies without the sort of slavish slavery. No, not at this time of day. Slavish, the same slavish loyalty that a lot of other Godzilla fans have, which is an unfortunate problem that a Godzilla fan does have, myself included. That we tend to put rose-colored tinted glasses over a lot of these films. I'm happy to say that revisiting a lot of these films, I come to appreciate them a lot more, and I do have a love for older science fiction films, especially ones from the 60s. But it's also great to hear intelligent discourse, or at least a different opinion on it, and you guys have been awesome in that regard. But how sad is it that SpaceGodzilla still remains kind of crappy?
It's first of all, thank you for the kind words, but
you're welcome.
It's really just a symptom of a lot of the Heisei movies and a lot of the Millennium era flicks where there's all these really cool ideas that are introduced, but they're never actually ever expanded upon. And I don't necessarily think that's an indication of a lack of talent to be able to pull this off. I think it's more so a lack of having the time and the budget to actually be able to do it, And there's a lot of good ideas in SpaceGodzilla. It just doesn't end up happening,
Yeah.
I never want to dismiss these films. I mean, there's a few I might have in the past have dismissed outright, and I as a fan, I can't really necessarily do that. But at the same time, it's kind of like you should call out the problems when you see the problems, and then you should really kind of emphasize the good stuff when there's good stuff in there. Like SpaceGodzilla has some of the, oddly, in my opinion, some of the best effects in the series in shots that don't matter. It's bizarre, but they look so good compared to other stuff.
Like what examples? Because the only one that comes off the top of my head is none of it. No, I'm just joking. No, Space Godzilla's arrival to Fukuoka, if I get that name right.
No, it's earlier in the movie than that, and again, it's for shots that just don't matter. Godzilla's arrival on Birth Island. There's a wide shot of him coming ashore, and usually you can kind of see where they composited, the Godzilla footage with the landscape shot that they had. But in there, it looks seamless, and the waves are crashing in, and Godzilla's coming ashore. And the other one is when Yuki is chasing Godzilla on the island again, and there's a shot where he's like sneaking in the foreground, and in the background, Godzilla's moving, but there's like all of these blades of grass that are just like waving in the wind. And again, it's another composite shot. And I know it sounds so stupid to like pay a compliment to something so small like that, but what's weird is the fact that like those are very competent effects in the same movie where you have the asteroid freaking fight amongst a lot of other lackluster stuff. It's weird. It's really weird. But then again, Kawakita, the special effects director, like I don't think he ever really got a fair shot. He really shined with Biollante. He was given the time and the money, and he was at the top of his game with that movie. But you could just tell, like, after just constant just rushing the stuff, it just wore him down, and I think he got a little complacent, possibly, in some places.
Yeah, that's another thing a lot of people don't like to bring up when they're talking about the quality and failures of the successes and failures of the Heisei Godzilla films. Not counting The Return of Godzilla and Biollante, these films were done on a quick. I'm trying to snap my fingers, but I can't snap my fingers. Like with really ridiculously short schedules and not even a really good ability to write scripts, which I think SpaceGodzilla is the ultimate example of everything that could go wrong will go wrong with a short schedule film. Because you're right, there are a lot of really good ideas and setups in SpaceGodzilla, but a lot of them are just, it feels as bad as like some of the Transformer movies from Michael Bay. There's like a billion ideas coming at you, but none of it matters at the end. So,
well, I don't know, is it just me, or it seems like a lot of SpaceGodzilla is just filler? Especially the scenes towards the end where the monsters are fighting, and there's just lots of like shots of them flying over the city and stuff blowing up, but you can't really tell what's happening, and like stuff like that. Whereas like other Heisei movies, like for example, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, the fights are a lot more dynamic. You know what I mean? They're a lot more exciting. And it seems like in SpaceGodzilla, it's just sort of like the camera is slowly flying around while they like roar at each other and don't do anything, and then just beams.
And they probably did that because none of the fucking suits move in that movie. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
SpaceGodzilla is stationary, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Like especially in that movie, it's very back heavy with the battles, a lot like some of the 70s movies were. And I would agree with Mechagodzilla stuff too.
Is pretty good. Yeah. Like the fight with Mogura is pretty good, but then it seems like they either just ran out of money or something when it got to the climax. I don't know. I mean, then again, I haven't really seen it in a number of years, so.
You lucky man, you.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Enshohma. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Like, I don't know. I have a little more forgiveness for SpaceGodzilla because it's not Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
That is true.
Yeah. Okay. Thank God I'm not the only one, because of all the Godzilla movies, that one I've tried watching and just get like, other than Mechagodzilla and Godzilla's fight scenes, which I enjoy a lot. It just gets under my skin as far as annoyance go. It's like watching a really poorly written anime series where every character is a douchebag.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Megaguirus. And it's funny, too, because for the longest time I thought I had a bias against that movie because when it first came out on DVD, thanks to Sony Entertainment, I ended up in a weird situation where I had ended up buying the movie 3 times against my own will. And yeah, and it's like that alone was annoying. But then it's like after a couple of years, I settled down and I rewatched the movie. And yeah, it pisses me off for some reason. But it's like SpaceGodzilla almost enters Megaguirus level, although I think there's enough spectacle in there to kind of keep me not angry. But there is, like, I don't know if you said it or other internet reviewers have, but there are some appalling character choices in there. It's like, I know some of it is related to Japanese culture, like that inability to reply to somebody who answers a question. Something I just found out fairly recently. So you get that weird scene. It's like, is Mickey okay? No reply. Apparently that's sort of a commonality in Japan. On the other hand, it may not be cultural. It may just be mistaken. It's just a terrible script. But then you have like really ridiculous scenes where, oh god, Lieutenant Gondo's old friend who's piloting Mogira decides just to fight Godzilla halfway into it like a mood swing. And it's like, and it doesn't make much sense, and it's not even really well executed if that was his alternative motive the whole time. But yeah, SpaceGodzilla. So
there's something there that could have been turned into a really good movie. I mean, even just the idea of SpaceGodzilla, I think, is really interesting. But yeah, all these points are extraordinarily valid, and those movies just got way too complacent and samey and tropey for their own good.
Yeah, it's like, I think, when do you think the downfall was? Like during Jeter or after Jeter with Mothra?
I think I personally do not like Mothra. I know that movie was very popular, but I think it kind of started with that because after Violante, they were like, okay, we got to make this more kid friendly. And of course, you know, Ghidorah's story is all over the place too. It's another crazy thing. But then you go to Mothra, and it's much more. Yeah, you go to Mothra, it's much more safe. You know, it's just a remake, and then the subsequent movies that follow, relatively also play it kind of the same way. I think it peaked somewhere between Ghidorah and Mothra, personally, at least for me personally.
Yeah, and it's so sad because. Like the original ideas Toho had after like Bagan versus Mothra, it's like they were going to be way more ambitious with a lot of their ideas, and it was just kind of like for lack of better terms. So it's anyways. But anyway, so have you guys checked out Destoroyah yet, or is that still an upcoming project?
We did, and we filmed a review. It's in the editor right now.
Oh, excellent.
One of the 5 projects I'm currently juggling.
Oh, okay. So no spoilers to what your guys' reactions will be, right?
It's I think it's going to be pretty. It's not going to be quite SpaceGodzilla, but it's an interesting dynamic. Okay. You know, I'll just say there's a lot to like in that movie, but there's also a lot to not like about that movie.
Yeah.
I always thought that one was okay, you know. I mean, there were some derivative scenes in it, but overall, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Myself.
Here's a question though. I like Destoroyah. I was almost gonna do that stupid gag where you scream his name. I personally like the monster, even though it's another can barely move massive costume. where the suit actor is literally inside the womb of the beast because it's that big. Oh god, that sounded terrible. I apologize to everybody listening. But and also we changed the image. There's Kudara getting a little bit of the makeup girls and guys helping him out. So, but god, what was I going to say about Destoroyah? Oh yeah. Originally, they had so many different. Then this was revealed to me through John LeMay with his various unmade kaiju books and personal conversations with him. They went through so many different ideas for the 7th Godzilla movie in the Heisei era, and
totally.
Oddly enough, a good number of them evolved like other evil Godzillas. You know, there was going to be a SpaceGodzilla's counterattack. There was different versions of the Ghost Godzilla. dynamic, or Godzilla versus Super Nuke Godzilla, where he meets another member of his species who's even more worse off in the radiation mutation department.
Right.
Then there was Godzilla. There was one of the versions called Godzilla versus Godzilla where it was Godzilla against a newly adult Godzilla Jr. So, but with all these ideas, do you think they went the intelligent route not to do another Godzilla versus Godzilla movie since they already did 2 in a row?
I think so. I think
Okay.
there's a certain level of genius kind of bookending that series with the thing that killed, the original Godzilla in the first movie. But I think the problem just lies in the fact that even that aspect isn't really played up as much as it could have been,
Mhm.
And it kind of runs back into the problem that we just talked about with Space Godzilla, where it's like all these really great ideas, not a whole lot of payoff.
Yeah.
But I do think that they definitely went good with the oxygen destroyer idea. Some of these other ones, like, they sound interesting, but you're coming off of 2 movies where Godzilla is fighting some kind of duplicate of himself.
Right. Okay, so getting off of the Heisei Godzilla films. So, what else there to talk about? Oh, we're never getting Godzilla vs. Kong again.
Yeah, it got delayed again, didn't it?
Yeah. So do you think that... Okay, so what do you guys think? Do you think it's a good thing it got delayed by another year, or a bad thing? Or at this point, we don't give a crap. Just throw it out in the street and let's catch it.
I think it's good. I think it's good that because wasn't it going to be released at the same time as, like, what was the Marvel movie, the Black Widow '84, and a bunch of other really high profile movies?
Yeah, they
that
were
would just kind of steal all the audience.
Yeah, no, they were originally going to release it in November. Dead set in the middle of, like, every other summer movie that was supposed to be coming out. Black Widow and Wonder Woman. I think literally they were going to... Godzilla vs. Kong was going to be released...
Yeah, they're going to dominate.
Yeah, within the same week, or at least between those 2 releases. And as much as we like Godzilla, as much as we like King Kong, as much as we like movies where our favorite celebrities battle each other to the death, my particular favorite being Abe Vigoda versus Betty White. That was great. From 1987.
Yeah, it would get stomped in the theater.
Yeah, because I hate to say it, like even though when these MonsterVerse movies have been doing well, relatively speaking, they haven't been doing the blockbuster business that more mainstream popular movies have been making. And yeah, I think Godzilla vs. Kong would have been ruined had it come out in November. So on the other hand, though, it's the waiting is the hardest part. So
it's complete, right? The movie, they've, like, finished it and everything, and it's ready to go. They're just waiting until people will actually go see it.
It's actually right? Yeah, it's been complete even before King of the Monsters came out. It's I would have to agree with kind of what's being said. I mean, it's probably better it got pushed back just given the circumstances and things of that nature. We all want it to do well for obvious reasons. But, like, yeah, I'm of the camp of, like, we're going to get it eventually. If I was 12, maybe then it would be a little bit of a different story, because I can understand if you're a younger fan, you're like, oh, come on,
I'm sorry, the image just popped in my head of, like, your normal face, like, now, but with, like, one of those, like, weird looking puppet bodies, and it's like, I'm Kid Matt Burkett, I have facial hair.
God damn it.
Yeah, where's my Kong?
and hair, for that matter, too.
Yes.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting once we finally get it, but I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people have said it was. It's just kind of a thing, And a lot of other movies have got to do the same thing, It's just happens this one's been moved around 3 or 4 times previous.
Yeah, I got no problem waiting.
Well, Jurassic World 3 started picking up on filming again the other day, and in terms of film release, it is a good call. While we'll have a shit ton of superheroes movies to watch come fall, it's kind of good that Godzilla vs. Kong kind of got moved back, because it gives it a potential to have it stay in the sun, because you don't always see kaiju movies in theaters very often, where superhero movies, they're kind of a dime a dozen these days. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but eventually people are going to burn out and want to break from them for a different genre. And if Godzilla vs. Kong does well, maybe the kaiju scene will be able to have its little bit of glory.
Yeah, we did get a little bit of, like, I know a lot of people are calling this the Renaissance as far as kaiju movies are well, I would say that we are doing a lot better with giant monster movies in the theaters, especially after 2018 when we had like 5 of them. But at the same time, though, getting to this, God, what is it? Yeah, it would be nice to see more giant. I don't. Hold on, I'm having a brain aneurysm here.
I think it already peaked. To be honest, myself.
Okay, so like Godzilla vs. Kong is like the last vestige of it, not counting big budget Japanese productions we're supposed to be having with like Shin Ultraman and.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, King of the Monsters didn't really do what they wanted. Pacific Rim 2 didn't really do what they wanted, so it's like there were a lot of them in the early teens that did really well, and then their sequels kind of went down. We didn't really get much of a Cloverfield sequel, there really hasn't been, it didn't really sustain itself. So, I mean, I'm thinking this one might be the last one in the Monsterverse. I mean, we all want more, and I'd be happy to get more, but as long as this one comes out, I think I'd be happy too. This is Kong Godzilla is kind of like the greatest thing ever as far as I'm concerned, and I'm very surprised that it's even happening. So
I can definitely say with confidence that Godzilla is not going to go into hibernation after Kong comes out. Like there's a long-term game plan for Toho. I mean, I don't know exactly what it is, but just with the stuff that they've been posturing over there. Holding these yearly Godzilla festivals, every November in Tokyo, trying to basically get a movie out a year, this being the one exception since 2016. I think that there's definitely going to be more stuff. I mean, you also got Nezura 1964 to look forward to.
Oh yeah,
that's supposed to be coming out.
Yes, we. Oh, okay. Let me explain it for you, Mark. And
not heard of that one.
Okay, so do you remember that before Gamera 1965 was made, Dai Studios tried to do a giant rat movie called Nezura, or Giant Horde Beast Nezura?
Right. So they're going to make that?
Yeah, by the way, there's fireworks going on outside, so if you hear scary... Yeah, those are fireworks. I thought I was like, oh, the gunfire again? Damn it, California. That was a joke.
That's cool. No, I didn't know that was being made. That's cool.
Wait. That's cool that there's gunfire going on?
Well, that and also, what's it called? Nezura?
Yeah. Oh, God. Matt, do you want to explain? I'm a little flustered with stupidity.
Oh, yeah. Nezura 1964. I'm not exactly certain if it's like a complete, like, just, like, they actually make the movie, but I think it's a combination of, like, historical drama, like all the stuff that happened during the production, and then also cutting with the story of the movie itself. That's how it's been described to me. Could be interesting. There's pictures of the monster floating around on Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, and well, of course, like I said, they tried doing a giant rat movie, didn't work out. In fact, it was disastrous. That's almost a podcast in its own right, but basically they started filming it. But they tried using live rats, but domesticated pet rats were not exactly the vicious monsters they want on camera. So the people.
Oh, I read about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the people at Dai decided to go to the sewers and get wild rats, and that.
Oh no.
Yeah. So there was like the rats were either cannibalizing each other, or there was an infestation of lice and ticks in the studio. And not only that, but Dai Studios, being like a really screwed up version of most American studios at the time, they filmed and committed some actual animal cruelty during some of these sequences, so much so that the one teaser trailer that was made for the movie was permanently banned and possibly destroyed when Dai Studios started work again after Katokawa bought them in the 2000s. So yeah, it upsetted the effects director so much that he left Dai and began P Productions. So that's not a joke. It's just the name of this company, P Productions.
Didn't they end up releasing all of those rats or something?
No, they had to just... Okay, there were complaints from the local neighborhoods about the rats, because I think some of them did escape, and there were those afraid that it was an infestation. So the health department of Japan ordered Dai Studios to destroy the rats they had. So, right. Yeah, and this was also the... Yeah, it's a terrible story. That was an angry yawn from Wyn. Okay.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah. So after that...
Actually, it kind of sounds a little hilarious. It sounds like a movie would be funny.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, but no, after that failure, they decided we still have sets. We still got to make a monster movie. So eventually they decided to do Gamera. And funny story, though, John LeMay revealed this recently to me. Because they still had props left over from Nezura, particularly a giant suit that was either supposed to be used for close-up shots of people being attacked, or there was supposed to be a giant rat at the end, bigger than the rest, which the new Nezura movie is definitely going to feature. Dai Studios, being the cheapskate psychopaths that they are, tried to get Noriaki... damn, I said his name wrong. Noriaki Yuasa, the director of the old Gamera movies, and the production staff of those old Gamera movies, to reuse the Nezura suit somehow. So we almost ended up getting a Gamera meets Nezura fight scene. But either the suit was in such terrible disarray that they decided not to do it, or that was the excuse they used to get the Dai executives off their back. I like to think that it was the latter. But yeah, we almost had Gamera versus a giant rat, so...
I can't believe the world deprived us of that.
Yeah, but it's funny you should mention the idea that, yeah, this upcoming Nezura 64 movie... I saw the previous movie that people made, which was based on the lost Japanese movie about the giant Buddha walks across the country. And
is it being made by the same team?
Yes, the same team. And I don't know if you saw that movie at G-Fest when they aired it twice.
No, I did not.
Okay, I did see it because you hit it on the nail. What that movie, the Buddha movie, was about. Because, all right, quick history lesson. Back in the early 30s in Japan, there was a fantasy movie called The Great Buddha's Arrival, which was about a giant Buddha statue coming to life and walking across the countryside. But the movie was permanently destroyed and lost during the events of World War II. And it's a truly lost kaiju movie, despite the presence of photos still floating about. I actually did some... I did an article or two on my old blog site that I recently brought back in Enshohma's Corner. Just type in Google, you'll find it. So, so many years later, this production company. Do you know their name off the top of your head, Matt?
I do not.
Okay.
It's
well,
I haven't followed them that much, to be perfectly honest. I know some of the people involved, but honestly, it's kind of been off my radar.
Okay, hold on. I'll open the old internet, and we'll find out in a little bit. Loading. 8 hours later, loading. Okay.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah. Okay. There's the company in Japan, which is a small studio called 3Y 3Y Co Limited. I don't know, in cooperation. Anyways, they did a movie called The Great Buddha's Arrival, which is based on the Lost movie. But it's not a simple recreation of what the original movie was, although they do go out of their way to kind of recreate, the fantasy elements, both in the original silent movie that's lost, as well as new sequences of a giant CGI Buddha slowly moving through the city. But the movie is kind of like a weird docudrama / meta-narrative, where a group of filmmakers are making a movie based on this lost movie. And then it's like they get caught within the events of the movie that actually happens. or they were hallucinating it the whole time. It's kind of a weird ending, but there's actual interviews with real celebrities who either remember seeing the movie, or they bring in like funny cameos that kind of just embellish the weirdness. Like, what is it? The international version they showed at the G-Fest convention had the grown-up actor who played Kenny in the original Gamera basically recounting the story of when he was saved by Gamera, except it's the giant Buddha that saved him, not Gamera. So, so I think Nezura 1964 is very much going to be in that same vein of weirdness. But I think this one, since it is a co-production with Katakawa Pictures, the people who run Dai now, I think this is going to be something a little more special. And I really hope this company 3Y Productions does more movies based on like Unmade or Lost Kaiju movies, because what is it? One of my all-time favorite concepts for a kaiju movie that never got made was Ekitsus, the giant squid, and I know I'm utterly butchering that name, but the plot is this was one of the precursors before they made the terrible Gappa the Triphibian monster in 1967. And Ekitsus was about a giant squid that heroically battled Nazi submarines. So it's like, yes.
Right on.
Yeah, but...
I've never heard of any of this stuff, so this is all brand new content to me.
Right. It's all French to me.
No, I mean, it's kind of awesome, knowing, like, what we could have got.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyways, let's get off this. Does anyone want to bring up anything less obscure and not as bizarre, conversation-wise?
We could talk about what have you been watching lately. That seems to be something we cover in every one of your live streams.
Oh yeah, that is true. So, I'm watching this live stream. Okay, sorry. By the way, you guys can't hear it, but every time like a dumb joke is made, I have the comedy rimshot drum effect going on. So it's horrible. So if you guys want to make a terrible joke, now's the time. Great job, guys.
I leave the terrible jokes to you, Ralph.
Okay. Wyn, you're usually good at knocking some terrible ones out. Damn it! Oh, God.
I'm sorry. I got nothing right now.
Okay. So what about you, Matt? Your show's filled with a lot of wonderful zingers.
Yeah, but I have people surrounding me that actually are good at that stuff, because I'm not.
Okay. I'll play the rim shot for that anyways. There we go. Okay, so but anyways, who wants to start talking about stuff they've been watching recently? Movies, TV shows, clouds hovering in the skies.
I will let somebody else go first. Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
Ahead.
I was actually saying I'll let somebody else go first.
Oh. Well, so I've been watching. It's called Bofuri. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. Anime, and it's kind of about a girl who's playing a role-playing game that's like the greatest role-playing game ever. If it really existed, I'd play it every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about how her character has max defense, and so she's like one of the best players on Earth because she just like totally like exploited the system, and it's actually kind of funny. It's hilarious.
A little lowly Uber tank.
Yeah, exactly. So, been kind of like into a lot of these. Like I finished up. There was one. Is it okay to hit on girls in a dungeon? We finished that one. And then
the isekai genre has been very popular these past couple years.
Yeah, and then there was another one about a guy who was overpowered. I can't remember what that was called.
Oh,
overly cautious, something or other. Overly cautious, overpowered hero or something. So anyway, watching that one. And then actually I started watching the third season of Daredevil because I never actually saw it. And it's actually really, really good. And I'm really sad now that all of that got canceled.
Mm-hmm. That's the one where the Punisher shows up, correct?
Well, he came in season 2.
Oh, okay.
So I never kind of got around to season 3, So now that I'm like running out of TV shows to watch, I finally got back to it. And it's like, God damn, it's good. And I'm just like, damn, I'm really sad now because it's over and we're not going to see any more of it. So that kind of stinks.
Yeah. Although I have to, being the cynic that I am, do you think those live action superhero shows are a little on the cheap side? It's like, and I'm not just talking about the Netflix Marvel ones. I'm also talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and also a lot of the CW teen angst ones.
Well, I mean, the budgets obviously are not going to be the same as what you get in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the Marvel ones don't really have much in the way of large effects anyway, at least not the Netflix series, you know? It's been a while since I've seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but the last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I watched was the one that led into Endgame, and it actually was pretty good. There were lots of, pretty semi-decent effects for TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, the TV effects are always going to be a notch down anyway, but... So it was okay. It seemed like, the Netflix ones are a lot more street level, kind of gritty, not so much in the way of like, special effects. Lots of really good, like, action sequences, stuff like that. Although Iron Fist was kind of crappy, so you can skip that one. But
yeah, I've heard a lot of bad things about Iron Fist, and it was like, especially the crap show that happened behind the scenes. So
yeah, it was just not as good. I mean, the thing is, I would still say that it was like, if you're watching something like the WB, like Flash or any of those shows, it's still probably better than those. I would say.
Right.
I really do like the Flash, though. I like the Flash. I don't know, like, the other ones are kind of, like, what's that one? Agents of Tomorrow or Legends of Tomorrow or something. I never really got into that one. Which is not to say that it's bad, but it's just kind of, I don't know. But yeah, of the WB ones, probably the Flash and like Supergirl are probably the two best, I'd say.
So
still have not seen any of the other ones. I know there's like Batgirl or Batwoman, and then there's like the ones that are streaming. I haven't seen any of those, like Swamp Thing or Titans or any of that.
Okay. So you're telling me that the last season of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. was connected to Endgame?
Well, it kind of explained why they weren't there.
Okay.
So
they all
it
exploded.
On the same day. Yeah, like the last episode of there's, I think it's like it's the season before this one that's just there because they just ended that show too. So I haven't seen the last season of that, but the last episode takes place at the same time as Endgame, and it basically sets it up as to why they weren't there while aliens were invading the Earth.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what were these people doing? Well, how come they weren't there if they're supposed to be defending the planet? So
yeah.
And it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. It had lots of space stuff, and the Kree were in it, and all this other time travel stuff.
Yeah, although it is a little weird that a modern-day television show would make a direct sequel to the 1983 Italian apocalypse movie Endgame.
Right.
Get that reference. Okay. Wyn, Matt, and Mark have just handed me some papers telling me that I'm being sued by them for that really crappy joke. So, okay. So, anything else? Or do we move on to Matt?
That's up for me.
Okay.
If anybody else needs to take over.
Yeah. You want to go, Wyn?
Sure.
Okay.
No worries. I wasn't saying an exasperation. I was just drinking the last of my water bottle.
Okay, so my Endgame joke wasn't that terrible.
It wasn't too terrible.
Okay. I was hoping you were
I'm just quite parched right now, so I'm going through beverages like crazy. Tea, water.
Okay.
Let's see. I have finally gotten around to watching the finale of She-Ra. Enjoyed the shit out of it.
Oh, what did you think?
It's so cute.
Because I remember last stream we were talking about that, and we were like not going to spoil it for you. So
I loved it. It's so cute, and Catcher looks so adorable with the short pixie cut.
Oh no, Wyn has transformed into a little kid. Cut to Wyn with like the horrible little puppet body. Yeah.
Shut up, Raph.
Okay, sorry.
We're good.
All right.
But yeah, I actually thoroughly enjoyed myself. I think at this point, after finally finishing the series, and that it started off rocky but ended up really, really good to the very end after that start, I can easily say to those who doubted the show that they can rightfully suck it. And so we don't get in trouble with the YouTubes. I mean, they can suck the sourest lemon.
That deserves a rim shot.
I don't think we can hear the rim shots. Can you guys hear it? I can't hear
No,
it.
don't worry about it. If you rewatch this terrifying broadcast, you'll hear the rim shots. I'm playing on my end, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been watching some stand-up comedy on and off.
Stand-up comedy.
One thing, and looking forward to a few upcoming shows for Crunchyroll, because I've seen a lot of them are coming soon. I might give the webtoon Tower of God a chance, because I keep seeing clips of it in my recommended feed for YouTube. So I'll probably watch that. I'll finally get around to watching the recent volume of Ruby, and one show I actually want to give a chance because the art does look cute, and it did get a bit of needless flack a couple years back. But after seeing some small clips here and there in the little upcoming soon segment is High Guardian Spice. It looks like a very cute show.
What's it called? High Guardian what?
High Guardian Spice. Because I guess it got a lot of flack because people thought it was going to be super social justice-y on both sides of the argument. But to me, it just looks, from the small clips I've seen, it looks cute. So I'm going to give it a chance to see if it's any good. But it's not out just yet.
Okay.
But definitely going to check out Tower of God. Definitely going to finish the recent chapter of Ruby. And I am on book 3 after my re-binge of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, it's still as good as I remember it. That show aged well.
That's something that we put on whenever we're bored and we can't think of anything to watch. So we just throw on. That's like our fill-in show. So, because it's really that. It's like really that good, you know.
Okay. So, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go, Matt? Or
no, what were you gonna say?
I'm sorry. Are you? I apologize. When are you done, or you got more to?
I'm good, because other than that, I haven't really watched too much yet, because I tend to fall asleep with the television on as a white noise, so anything else I might not remember, because it's not that it's bad, it's just television for me is kind of a white noise, so I just kind of conk out.
Especially when you have it on Fox News.
Because I have really bad insomnia.
Okay. Get it? White noise? Fox News? Never mind, I'm sorry.
Raph, goddammit. This is why we can't have nice things.
It's a social satire pun. Zing! Okay, sorry. I'll sit in the corner, Matt. Do you want to talk about things you've been watching lately?
Oh yeah, I'll just be super quick. We finished watching What We Do in the Shadows season 2 like a week or two ago. Absolutely love that show. If you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Season 1 was good. Season 2 was better. Amazing humor, fantastic writing. And then I am not ashamed to actually admit this. It is complete like YA type trash, but I am now binging the season 7 of The 100, which is the post-apocalyptic sci-fi show on the CW, which is ridiculously melodramatic and totally fucking cheesy. But for some reason, I have really taken to it. I think it's just because of the fact that there's a lot of Battlestar Galactica in there, the reimagined Battlestar Galactica, and it kind of satisfies that itch because I'm a huge BSG nerd. So that's pretty much what I've been up to lately.
Okay. All right, we'll have to talk. Oh God, that reminds me of two things I did want to poke your brain with. So, damn it, what's the correct technology? Pick your brain? No, whatever.
Pick your brain.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pick your brain.
Okay. So.
Your nose.
Right, and as you can tell, I picked the wrong one. Okay, sorry. It's just rim shots tonight. So, okay, so what have I been watching lately? All right, so there's this series on Netflix that has recently gained traction because its second season premiered recently. I do highly recommend it, especially if you are into things like She-Ra and Avatar: The Last Airbender, and if you enjoy the more colorful and fanciful versions of post-apocalyptic narratives. There's an animated series from DreamWorks called Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beasts. Yes.
Oh, I actually heard of that.
Yeah.
Got that in my queue.
Oh God, definitely watch it because it's fantastic. The first season is really good. The second season is even better, and I can't wait to see what the third season is going to be like. But basically, the series takes place in a 200 years in the supposed future, where some major event has caused most of the animals on Earth to mutate into either giant monsters, or into like bizarre sentient anthropomorphic versions of what they already are. So you have like varying gangs of different animal types, like rock and roll snakes, lumberjack cats, mod frogs. I am not high right now. And our lead heroine, Kipo, she's a girl from an literal underground settlement of humans who finds herself out in the open and befriends several humans and mutes, which is short for mutants in the series. And together they go on various adventures as well as face against several villains, or befriend them, because Kipo is she's very similar to Aang, or as those horrible Hollywood heathens would have us say, Ong, from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and the fact that she's a very positive individual who uses her own skills and later find out powers to make things better, or to befriend, or, you know, it's like Pollyanna in the age of in the kaiju apocalypse. So it's the best way I can describe it. But it's very well done. And it's funny, too, because there's a lot of things I love about it. First off, it is kind of technically a giant monster show because there are a lot of giant monsters, especially in the second season when we find out I won't spoil anything, but yeah, the second season basically puts it on the level of is like who can fight who against Godzilla levels of nerddom. But yeah, it's very well done. It's available on Netflix right now. And it's funny, too, because the person in charge of the music for the series is the same person who did the music in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's funny, too, because I'm not a big fan of hip-hop and rap, but I did enjoy the soundtrack to Into the Spider-Verse, but I think Kipo does an even better job at it, because some of the music I've sought... It's almost like how Steven Universe is semi-musical. Kipo is very much in the same way, but I think the music is arguably better. So, especially, Jaguar Eyes from the last episode of the first season. That's a really good song. It's almost a crime that's only like less than 2 minutes. And in the only problem I would say about the music is that, like similar to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the beats and the rhythms and the actual execution of the song is very good and matches the scenes that are being used, but the lyrics sometimes, not as often, but will betray it. Sort of.
Hey guys, sorry, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Okay. But yeah, no, it's a very good series. It's very imaginative and colorful. Lots of great characters, both on the human and non-human side. And it's also very funny too. It's extremely funny. It's like, I highly recommend it. If you haven't seen Kipo Age of the Wonder Beasts, by all means do so. And had I known, I would have thrown in some Kipo images instead of our fat friend Kodalar saying hello to his space dragon buddy Shiligi, or however the hell you're supposed to say it. So they're just alone wondering where the car show is. Oh, they're late. But yeah. Now with that said, though, I do want to pick your mind, Matt. Why do you like the Battlestar Galactica remake, and do you have any experience with the original Battlestar Galactica? So,
I just really took to BSG, the Ron Moore stuff.
Hey, Ben.
don't really have too much connection with the originals. Like, I mean, I obviously watched. I'm not old enough to have watched them on TV, but like growing up, rented the VHS movie and saw some episodes here and there. Got to experience some of the wonderful terribleness that is Galactica 1980. But
we're on Earth now.
But you know, there's just so many different aspects of Galactica that I really enjoy. We don't talk about the ending, but everything else is pretty awesome. It's I'm just always a big, you know, sci-fi spaceship dude, like Star Wars and Star Trek and Battlestar. I mean, I love that stuff almost as much as the kaiju stuff, you know. So Battlestar has always been a favorite of mine. More recent favorite, I should say.
Okay, so are there?
You know, I agree that that show was ahead of its time, like by far. I mean, it had that sort of narrative, like long form storytelling, like years before that became a standard thing.
Totally.
And I still haven't actually finished watching all of it myself. It's something that I've been meaning to get back to, but I really enjoyed what I've seen of it.
It's worth the watch through. You can definitely tell towards the end they were suddenly like, oh crap, we got to wrap this up somehow. And you know, unfortunately the writing isn't really satisfactory in that instance, but I would be lying to say if like you know, that can't ruin the entire show. There's a lot of good stuff, I would say. And some of the spin-offs like Blood and Chrome, I can't not recommend Caprica, but at the very least, Blood and Chrome was pretty cool.
You know, my favorite part about Blood and Chrome was the internet designer being forced to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Get it? Blood and Chrome? Okay. Sorry. That was dumb. And I don't regret that one, though. So. All right, but keep going.
No, I was just... You know, I can nerd out about that all day. I think that's one of the other reasons why I love the Godzilla anime movies so much. Is there is so much Battlestar like stuff in that movie or those movies. You can definitely tell that there's both a visual and stylistic element there. And then Ron Moore also did Deep Space Nine, and I love Deep Space Nine, and there's a lot of similarities there.
You know, it's fun. Even knowing Deep Space Nine, I've been watching a lot of Deep Space Nine lately. I should have said that. Not as much as Kipo and maybe She-Ra constantly. But, yeah, Deep Space Nine is really good, especially for... It does suffer from being an episodic series from the 90s. So I think Mark said it himself that, an episode end with a really good... revelation, and it's kind of forgotten in the next episode, but not as bad as a lot of modern day shows where it's God, like Glee would be a perfect example of progress suddenly forgotten when the next episode shows up. But that's a whole different. Don't ask me how I ended up watching Glee. That was a nightmarish experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Star Trek was like that, because they would just play them in any order.
Mm-hmm.
So, although Deep Space Nine towards the end of the series started going into that sort of long form format as well. Like the last maybe 5 or 6 episodes are all, one continuous storyline.
Don't quote me on this, but I think that they said something in the documentary What We Left Behind, which was like a retrospective of the whole series for DS9.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they had to fight to get exactly what we're talking about, to get the episodic nature of the show, because Next Gen and TOS was all episode or all self-contained stories each episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you get to DS9 and you suddenly have this more serialized storytelling with the Dominion War and all of that, and one of the problems is exactly what you're talking about, how in syndication they could just air it out of order in whatever order the hell they want. So you couldn't quite do that with that show. But I also think it's definitely, like you said, it was ahead of its time for one, but I also think it really helped that show kind of find its footing, because those first couple seasons are kind of tough to get through, but once it finds itself, it really does find itself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it seems like something that would have done a lot better nowadays, because
totally
now when that's like a standard thing, versus back then. That's how they made the shows like that on purpose, So, but
it's such a good show.
Yeah.
I love all that sci-fi stuff. I won't comment about the current iteration of Trek, but
that's
the
about
the 90s
right what I
Trek
was about
is.
to ask you about.
Yeah.
So, have you seen Picard or Discovery or anything? Not a fan. I know you just said you wouldn't comment. Now I'm asking you for a comment.
I tried watching a couple episodes of Discovery and I couldn't, and I regret to say I did watch all of Picard, and
Ouch.
Yeah,
Don't like it, huh?
I was not a fan. I was not a fan at all.
Yeah, you mean you're not a fan of a multi-million-dollar CBS attempt to bring somebody's edgy fan fiction to life?
Yeah, Picard definitely has. It's trying to hit that. And you know what I got from it. I think they were trying to make the Star Trek version of Game of Thrones. That's what I got from it, without the sex.
I just, pardon the language, but I just fucking can't stand all this contemporary writing in, what are we, 24th, 25th century?
Yeah.
People are vaping, people are talking like millennials, and, not to get too political or anything, but there definitely seems to be a bit of an agenda with the writing. I guess that can be, argued and stuff. But the writing itself was just bad. No matter which way you cut it, take the politics out of it and whatever. The writing was just awful on Picard. And I really kind of made me sad to kind of see it play out the way it did. But again, that's just my opinion. Yeah. I'm not trying to bash anybody who did enjoy it. But. Yeah.
Well, you bring up a good point, because that's what I tend to... It really kind of shows to the level of unimaginativeness, for lack of a better term, that goes on in a lot of modern day science fiction writing. You just have to look at that. I am not a fan of the recent not Star Trek.
Star Wars?
No, not Star Wars. Well, that's a whole different bag of ravenous kittens we can talk about another time.
I'm just asking all the leading questions today, man.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Yeah. No, the Twilight Zone that showed up recently on CBS's All Access streaming, whatever. I'm not, because I'm a huge fan of the original Twilight Zone, and I adore a lot of the writers who worked on that show and a lot of their short stories, David Matheson particularly, and it really shows the lack of quality from the original Twilight Zone, where it had some of the greatest writers of short American fiction working on the shows, compared to today, where you end up with, which, I know some of the episodes are very well praised for being politically hot issue buttons, but at the same time, they're so poorly done, and they lack a lot of the really awesome satire and morality that the original Twilight Zone had. And not only that, but it also feels very hamstrung. It's the Twilight Zone, so we got to do scary twist ending for the sake of scary twist ending. So Richard Matheson, thank you, Brayton, Brands Films, in the comment section. Holy crap, dog! I know you like the CBS Twilight Zone, but you're not going to share controversial opinions. I don't know if you can hear my chihuahua in the next room screaming his head off.
Oh yeah.
Again, I say hi, Nippo.
Yeah, he is literally right behind the door wanting to come in, but no, he's all washed, he's all clean, but I don't want to hear him scream throughout the live stream. Unfortunately, it's too late for that.
If you like the Twilight Zone, dude, you'll love. Have you seen Black Mirror?
No, I haven't seen Black Mirror. I know a lot of people have been recommending that, but I don't know.
It's really good.
Yeah, but I miss the old days when an anthology series was an anthology series. You don't know if the story is going to end happily. You don't know if the story is going to be dour, or if the story is going to be a fantasy adventure. And the original Twilight Zone, and to a lesser extent, its remake in the 80s, or revisit in the 80s, were very good at keeping that wonderful variety. You really was reading an anthology of different stories. Whereas today, it's the same skeleton, just decorated slightly. It's that's the problem I had with the 90s Outer Limits series. It didn't matter what the story was. It would always end with a scary horror movie twist ending that made no sense and completely took a crap on what came before. The story could be about peaceful aliens. Oh, it still ends with all the characters dying. Story could be about the post-apocalypse. Oh, every character dies. At the and it's literally, it's not like it's built up throughout the story. It's literally like a last-minute twist. It's like watching a 1980s horror movie where all of a sudden, like, oh god, a good example would be like Deadly Friend, where it's like they defeat the killer robot, but then suddenly the killer robot shows up out of somebody's corpse like a demon. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's dumb.
Didn't you know, Raph? Whether it be 90s or today, in the world of sci-fi, if you want to get with the times and appeal to them young folk, you gotta make everything edgy.
That is true, but...
Too edgy, 5 me.
Yeah, but that's the thing about the new Twilight Zone, too. It's like, they have, like, people who have no idea, who have never really worked in the realm of fantasy fiction. And it's not bad if, it's like you can bring in a writer from somebody who has no experience with fantasy or sci-fi whatsoever, and they will likely bring their own neat spin on it. On the other hand, they might be so horribly unimaginative that you end up with Picard, where it's like, oh, I can't think of a distant future time where things are better, so I'm just going to write it like today, only worse. Or you get somebody who loves writing for the gritty, relatively realistic world of Batman, but then you tell them to write for Superman, and you end up with whatever Frank Miller does.
See, in regards to Picard, right, I understand why they decided to go the gritty route, and it's because Happy Trek doesn't sell anymore, right? So that's really why. It's like they're looking at something like, imagine if the Next Generation were to air today, it would bomb horribly.
Yeah.
It really would. It just doesn't resonate,
Yeah.
And,
it's
because, you think, like, Star Trek people will love it, because they'll love pretty much anything that has Star Trek on it, as long as it's not a total, trash pile. You know what I mean? So, but, that's always been the problem with Star Trek, is they're trying to appeal to a larger audience. You know what I mean? They want Star Trek to be the next billion-dollar franchise, and it's like, it never really has been, It's always kind of been that sort of thing that, like, nerds are really into, and the rest of the world is just sort of like, whatever, I'll go for the spaceship battles. So, like, that's why the last 3 movies have been all spaceship battles, no exploration, no social commentary, you know what I mean? Like, even the last one, they put the freaking Beastie Boys music in it, and it's like, what is this, like, music video bullshit,
I hate to say...
They're trying to appeal to that. They're trying to make it Star Wars, is what they're trying to do.
I'm not as big of a fan of the sitcom as I am, but to quote Peter Griffin from one of the earlier funny seasons of Family Guy, we like to call you normies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're going for that. They want that, summer blockbuster money, and it's like, there's only really been one really good the only really good Star Trek movie was Wrath of Khan. That was really it. There's been other ones that have been decent, but that's the only one that actually, like, managed to break out and become one that normies watch. Every movie afterward has to be a Wrath of Khan, and it's like, I don't know.
I gotta argue that point, because 90s Trek, man, it was everywhere. The Las Vegas experience, you had all the shows going on, and I think
that thing was awesome, by the way. The Las Vegas thing, yeah.
And I do agree with what you're saying about how like definitely their approach to Trek and stuff is they want to make it the next billion-dollar franchise. They're always trying to reinvent the wheel, And I think there is some truth in the fact that even if Next Gen played today, like, it wouldn't do as well. But at the same time, Next Gen would have to be repackaged too. But these guys can't even fucking do gritty right, Like, it's just it's just so the idea of gritty Trek, I think, is serviceable. I think you can do that. DS9 to some degree, I would argue, did that. Maybe not as much. But, it's just like the writing on today's shows, Walking Dead, it's just, how can we make our characters more miserable than they are now?
It's all the same!
Yes!
And
that's what I was trying to get at with
DEUX. You want to bring back an established franchise that people love, and you want to modernize it a bit? Cool beans, but at the same time, just don't go overboard with it. There's a reason. There's the old adage: if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to add to the point, Star Trek Next Generation was all over the place. Like, especially those first 2 seasons where it's like, what are we doing? What is this?
But it was still so entertaining to watch, and the characters were just so engaging through every season.
Yeah, and Star Trek at its... Yeah.
It started good after Picard grows the beard. I mean, that's where that expression came from. Grows the beard.
Right, but no, I'm sorry, I just want to quickly say, one of the things that made, when Star Trek was at its peak, regardless if it was the original series, if it was the Renaissance in the 90s, between the latter half of Next Generation to, well, arguably Voyager, and some of the better movies, even the ones that aren't Wrath of Khan, there was always something, like, you had a variety of stories. You know, it's like, you have this whole spacescape to visit. You can have one episode where our heroes go to a land of fairy tales. Next episode, our heroes deal with a horrific Nazi-like society. Or it's like the Borgs are winning one episode. Next episode, we got to help Q with his love life, that bastard. But
I loved Q. He was such an epic troll.
Yeah, exactly. So, I love you, Picard. That was my terrible Q impression. So.
God damn it, Rap.
It's true.
In my opinion.
What?
They blew it by not having Q in the movies, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or having him in Picard. He should have shown up in Picard. I mean,
definitely.
He was like the only really good recurring villain in the entire Next Generation, really. I mean, him and what was her name? Sela. She was the only other good recurring villain.
But
everybody else was kind of meh.
Yeah, but no, it's like back then you could really you had this wonderful playground of different story elements, different characters, different worlds to deal with. Now today, you're right. It's like, let's just make our characters as miserable as possible in the most unimaginative and limited scapes imaginable. You know, it's like, we have this whole universe to go to. Let's keep going to the same crappy little backwater criminal den every episode. So it's like...
And if I may interject once more, I'm sorry, telling the Jean-Luc Picard such fucking hubris? No, lady, you shut your whore mouth! You do not talk that way to Jean-Luc Picard. No!
Yeah.
No!
I hated that character.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
Snickers.
I get the whole idea. The idea that the Federation has, abandoned their ideals and blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Oh, no.
All of that shit. But it's like, man, this is the guy who saved the planet Earth like 17 times.
Yeah.
It's
not just that, but like I was trying to get at earlier, like, oh god, like when I was ranting about the Twilight Zone, back then you could have a wide variety of different stories. You could have like really good writers who knew what they're doing regardless what the subject matter was. But now with new Twilight Zone, again, it's the same boring skeleton just slightly decorated, and writers who are really terrible at what they do regardless if they're science fiction writers or not. A perfect example is that miserable Twilight Zone, the new Twilight Zone. They had a miserable episode called Wonderkin, which was written by a Saturday Night Live writer, which itself is already red flags everywhere. And it was basically about an evil teenager who takes over the nation as the new president. And it's like, if Rod Serling was still alive, he'd be like doing whirlies around this script with more clever commentary than whatever the hell you guys were doing, which is basically the equivalent of Futurama's The Scary Door sketch stretched out to an hour length. But I feel that's the same problem with a lot of the new Star Trek iterations, and you guys are absolutely right. Misery for the sake of misery. That works in great context with other series like The Expanse or even Battlestar Galactica. But it's like, oh god, it's like, I don't know. You can even look at the new Star Wars where it's like, I don't know. There's just so much crap out there. I'm sorry. I'm getting emotional. I'm getting stuck in a corner right now.
I don't know.
So
I mean, I thought Picard was better than Discovery by far. Discovery was kind of a confusing mess. You know what I mean? That didn't really have any coherent narrative through it. Picard just seemed to be more like let's just make every excuse possible to do the most anti-Star Trek thing that we can think of.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Well, there's robots, let's genocide them instead of, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and, but yeah, it is kind of like literally all over the place, and one action doesn't seem to logically follow another. Right. And then the androids are good, then they're evil, then they're good again, then they're evil again. Like, I don't know, it was very...
Oh god, that's a real sign of terrible writing in mainstream Hollywood. Conflict for the sake of conflict without any reason to why there's conflict. Like, characters will... Like, it's like Lost. That was a really horrible example. It's like, alright, we're about to get off the island. Wait a minute, guys. I decided to blow up the submarine. Why? I don't know. I hate subs all of a sudden. And you see that writing all the time in modern day science fiction, modern day television shows in general, I should say, not just science fiction. So, go on.
So,
Sorry.
are any of you guys Supernatural fans?
Yep.
All right, go on.
I haven't been able to catch up, but I can at least say I've watched about 8 to 9 of the seasons.
Okay, so you're on season 9?
Yeah, it's just been a while since I've
Okay.
sat down to rewatch it. It's just I used to watch it a lot with my mom, and I loved the show dearly because it had a nice mix of camp and serious kind of emotional elements. The only thing I didn't like was that whenever there was a really cool character, it had to be killed off because of whiny entitled fangirls bitching.
Ugh, yeah, I haven't watched Supernatural. Even I heard about those problems.
Yeah, they basically kill everybody who's interesting. But they bring them all back.
I'm still
so-
salty for them killing off Bobby.
He sort of kind of comes back, sort of kind of. Not really, but kind of.
And I wanted to see more
And then,
Jill, but no,
Lucy
they had to
Davis,
kill her
too.
off, the fucking assholes.
What was that?
And I wanted to see more ass kickery of Joe being a demon hunter, but no.
Yeah.
The fangirls didn't like her because she interfered with ships. No, fuck you.
Mm.
Go take a long walk off a short pier. Stop letting interesting characters die because you want to write your Wincest fanfiction.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the Harry Potter movies. Like, like a world filled with interesting characters. No, let's just focus on these small group of teenagers and they're, it's prom time. It's like, fuck that. I want to know about the Frankenstein dude.
Yeah, I know.
Ugh.
Tell me about the goblins and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, so the last season of Supernatural. So I haven't actually I don't know if they've aired all of the episodes yet because Netflix only has up to episode 13 of the final season. But it's sort of like they've written themselves into a corner with the last season. So the bad guy, the big bad in each season keeps getting more and more dangerous to the point where they can't, like, the bad guy now is God. Like, they're literally fighting God. Like, I know that's
wait a minute.
spoiler.
I thought they already did God as a big bad.
So, and they haven't actually should display the season finale yet, so I don't know what happens, but it's sort of like it's hitting that point where they like, okay, they've beaten everything ever that's ever every kind of monster that's ever come at them, and there's nothing stronger. So, like, I don't know. And I'm kind of, I mean, I really like the show. It's like, yeah, I think they've exhausted the, creative, like, possibilities for the show now, so I guess it's good that it's ending. So...
Yeah, I know they wanted to end it like a few seasons ago, but executives, they gotta keep milking the cow until it's dry.
Yeah, they should have ended it like 5 years ago, really. But
Exactly.
But what I've seen of the last season is actually pretty good as far as Supernatural goes. So, if you like the show, you won't be disappointed. But it's just, it's kind of like, It kind of reminds me of like the last 2 seasons of the X-Files. You're like, okay, why is this even there? Like, why is this even happening? Why am I watching this?
Yeah, I remember the final
just
season. Just nothing but sock puppets with the photographs of the actors' faces on it. What was that?
But I will say this: we at least got the Scooby-Doo Supernatural crossover movie out of it, and I actually enjoyed the shit out of that one.
That was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You find yourself rooting for the bad guys. What was what I'm saying? You know, just like, all right, just kill him. Oh, god damn it! No, don't tie him up. Just kill him. You know.
Yeah.
Just shoot him. Right, you have him. Okay.
Okay.
Also, I gotta say this in terms of Supernatural. If I had $1 for every time Sam got tied to a chair, I'd probably be super rich right now. He seems to be a bondage magnet.
Sam's girlfriend, whoever he's with, always ends up dying. If you notice, like, first off, whenever Sam falls in love with someone, she turns into a monster for some reason. She'll turn into a werewolf or some kind of genie or some shit. So, you know, Sam never gets laid. Forget it.
Or she'll spontaneously combust like in season 1.
And then
dumb.
Dean dies like 17 times a season, like, and then always comes back for whatever reason. He's dead, he's back, he's a werewolf, he's back, he's a vampire, he's back. And so both of them have died like 20 times and have like both gone to hell and have like both gone to heaven and all of this other stuff. And they keep getting resurrected. You know, it's just this like... And it's actually the last season, the last 13 episodes kind of explains some of this. So I don't want to give away any spoilers or whatever. So it kind of redeems it, the kind of ridiculous roller coaster writing that's been going on, you know, but it's definitely suffering from that, like, you know, I don't know, the show's getting tired. It's getting tired. It needs to end. So
it's toying with my emotions, and I hate it.
We have Professor Kaiju in the chat, and he says Supernatural should have ended at season 5.
You shouldn't pay attention to Professor Kaiju.
Yes.
He's heard of everything but has seen nothing.
Just like me. Oh God. No.
Bryce is a good guy.
Right. And
he's a really good guy.
Branzant Film says the same boring skeleton, just slightly redecorated, equals me every time I try a new outfit. But yeah, it's like it's funny you guys mention all these very good points about how crappy television is, yet everyone keeps insisting we're in the golden age of television.
Oh, we are.
Yeah,
we are, dude.
Well, maybe production wise, but writing wise, I think we're still in the same level of Murder, She Wrote stupidity of the week. Oh, I don't want to say that. Murder, She Wrote wasn't that bad.
You know,
Murder, She Wrote was actually good.
Yeah. What's a terrible show from the past that everyone loved?
I think the last 10 years we've had some of the best television ever. I don't know. I just want to put that out there.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know. The last 2 seasons of Columbo. The other seasons were good, but the last 2, from what I understand, were hit or miss.
Yeah, especially the last 5 episodes of Columbo where he battled God.
So
just one more question, God, about Sodom and Gomorrah. Oh no, you found me out. God jumps out the window. It's like he may have caused miracles, but he couldn't escape the law. Okay, I'm never mind. Somebody say something, please.
You know, I think we've gotten some of the best TV shows like ever made in the last maybe 10 years. There's been some really, really good shows out there, you know. That things that you would never would have saw in them just because of the streaming model, you know, stuff you never would have saw. Like, I mean, like I haven't seen, for example, Walking Dead in forever, but the first like 3 seasons are really good.
Yeah.
You know, like
Definitely.
I don't know how much it's like deteriorated since then. Same thing with Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones ended really horribly.
Yeah.
But man, like the first like 3 or 4 seasons are like fantastic. You know, it really rivets you. You're really like on the edge of your seat, especially after the Red Wedding. And I'm going to spoil that because, you know, the show ended badly, so fuck them. But Like, especially right around then with the Red Wedding where all those people die and you think they're like the main characters and stuff. Like that blew me away personally, you know. So I don't know, man. I think I do agree with that when they say this is the golden age of television. I think we're still in it, you know.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well,
it seems like since that writer strike, like you remember that writer strike about
about a decade ago?
Yeah. Like ever since then, like it seems like it got really good, you know.
Yeah, but also the writer's strike also gave to the rise of reality television, so it's a give and take. So Brandent Film says Breaking Bad makes up for 1,002 Broke Girls. I would have to agree with that. Like, from the few episodes I've seen of Breaking Bad from throughout the various seasons, it's consistently good. And I've seen enough episodes of Two Broke Girls saying, nothing's worth this level of misery, even for the cleavage.
Breaking Bad is totally worth checking out.
Haven't watched much television in forever, but if there is one series that actually managed to fight the NBC cancellation curse that I do want to go back and watch again, it's Grimm.
I'm sorry. Is Grimm still on the air? I'm honestly shocked to hear this.
I'm not sure. I haven't, like I said, I haven't watched much television in like forever. I cut the cord back in 2013, but whenever I would see seasons pop up on Hulu, I would kind of sit down and watch it.
Right.
Yeah, same here. I don't really have cable. I just wait till these things show up streaming, you know. Like, I don't have the patience to sit there and sit through commercials anymore. Like,
yeah, you know, it's a good point. It's
for that.
Yeah.
And most of the shows suck. And anything good gets canceled straight away. It's like anything thought-provoking gets thrown away for garbage.
Yeah, or worse, it gets, even if you do have good shows, they get overwhelmed by like really by the crappy stuff. Like, what is it? Nickelodeon might have one or two new good shows, but who cares, because we got to throw in a SpongeBob marathon between every episode. So and it's not only that, but the scheduling too gets on my nerves. Like, what is it? I only got into Steven Universe when the show was nearing its end on Cartoon Network, because then I had a whole seasons to revisit. Had I tried watching the series as they aired, and I'd have to wait 6 months between episodes, I'd be like, screw it, I give up, period. I'm not going to revisit this show whatsoever. And it's... Oh, God. That's one of the reasons I'm not into Power Rangers anymore, because it's like, here's a new episode of Power Rangers. 6 months later, here's the second episode of Power Rangers. So it's like, screw you guys.
Yeah, it's because, to be fair, it's because the way execs schedule everything. If a show is super popular, they're going to whore the holy hell out of it, leaving the actual good content in the dust. Which, Steven Universe is a great show, I'm going to agree. And the problem that it had was that on Cartoon Network, with its at the time management, it had to wait a while because all they wanted to do was play nothing but Teen Titans Go all fucking day.
Yeah. And
So,
I wouldn't be mad because some of the episodes aren't too bad, but you whore the holy hell out of one show all day, every day. People are going to burn out and feel a little salt and disdain.
Yeah, you might love hamburgers, but don't eat it every minute. So.
See, I love
you eat hamburgers every day, you're not going to be able to shit.
Yeah. Thank you, Wyn, for that image.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I really like that show, but since I don't have cable, I mean, I know, because you're not the only one that said that. Like, Raph said the same thing to me, that they just play that show 24/7, all day, all night. And I can imagine how that would piss people off, you know. But, you know what I think as far as Steven Universe goes? I mean, it was great. I love it. I think it got sabotaged. And I think the reason why is because they were, you know, because of the sexual content, you know what I mean? Like, I think there were some people, like the executive, you know, of Cartoon Network who were just, like, not comfortable with that. And that's why, like, it only had 4 episodes a year for 5 years.
What are you talking about? The
Like,
lesbians from
feeling,
the lesbian
you know,
rock
just
monsters
listening
from
to,
space?
Well, just listening to like interviews
Okay,
and stuff like
sorry.
that, like it seems like they did everything they could to like kill it, but they couldn't kill it because the fan base was so rabid and people kept
Mm-hmm.
people kept asking about it, and then they kept like writing
Oh,
emails and crap,
so
and
you
so they would just like release it slowly over time, and I think it would have done a lot better if they just would have like got behind it,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, then again, it did get like a movie, and the last, like, I don't know if you've seen Steven Universe Future, like
I saw
those
it.
actually aired 10 in a row. They didn't stretch that out over a year.
Uh-huh.
Like, it seems like they finally gave up and just gave Rebecca Sugar like a budget and said, "Go do it." You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
instead of, like,
I
trying to
guess they
sabotage-
had their fill of sugar.
This is what happens. This is what happens when people are tired of your shit, Karen.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I'm getting the feeling that one day she's gonna like release a tell-all book or whatever about how she had to struggle to get that show on the air.
Yeah.
Or something.
Right. God. And not only that, but there's like, wasn't there like a lot of international controversy that a lot of countries wouldn't even air Steven Universe because of the openly lesbian content?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, in Russia, they, the what's her name, Garnet, is made up of, ruby and sapphire or whatever.
Two separate gem creatures.
Yeah, and in Russia, they made Ruby have a mustache, which is like, I don't understand. I mean, it's not like the internet doesn't exist in Russia. I'm sure they know, right?
Right.
So.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so how long have we been going, by the way?
It's 10:24. I think you said you wanted to end around 10:30-ish, 10:45.
10. Yeah, let's do 10:45, if not 11 o'clock. Are you holding up okay, Matt? Because I know you don't usually you in your brilliance keeps live streams short.
I actually might need to head out in just a minute.
Okay, all right. Well, then we'll let you have the final say, or if you want to say goodbye or do anything, whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for letting me come on here. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was really nice meeting everybody, and I just appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, all right. No, it was nice having you here. Like I said, this live stream just goes all over the place. So, but no, it was great to have you around here, and it was awesome to hear your thoughts on everything. I do have one last question for you before you go, though. Would you say you enjoy spacefaring science fiction a lot more than kaiju, or it's kind of equal amounts?
In some ways, it's equal amounts. I think that kaiju kind of won over all. I used to be a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, A New Hope is still my favorite movie of all time, bar none. But I say it's a little bit of half and half. Like I like talking about the kaiju stuff a lot more. The sci-fi stuff is just something I just have always just loved. So it's weird.
And with that said, I just realized we should kind of make. It's not really just the kaiju either, though. You're into like the whole scope of tokusatsu, and I don't know. Do you want to explain in that regard? Because when people hear tokusatsu, they only think of Godzilla, and they don't think of like the wider variety of different science fiction, fantasy, and horror shows and movies that Japan makes.
It's just a really weird. I don't know if it's so much like that over in the East, but definitely out here in the West, the fandom is split up amongst like the Henshin Heroes side of the fandom, Ultraman, which doesn't fall under Henshin Heroes, and then you got the Godzilla fans. I do like a little bit of everything. I will never say I'm the world's biggest fan of, say, like Kamen Rider. I love some Kamen Rider stuff, but there's a lot of current iterations that I'm not a fan of. Super Sentai's a lot of fun. Same thing with Ultraman. Like, there's a lot of great stuff with Ultraman, but I haven't seen every single episode. So yeah, it's just one of those things where I really like the variety that's in that genre, because I think there's something in there for everybody. If you want dark, serious, if you want more lighthearted, it's just it's a really inventive genre, both on the filmmaking scale and on the storytelling scale, in my opinion.
And it's great you mentioned that, because it's like, I know a lot of people are disappointed with the Godzilla anime trilogy. But at the same time, isn't it wonderful that something like the Godzilla franchise has so many movies in it that we can afford to have just a basic space drama with everything else, and still know that more is coming after the fact? So it's like, it's in a sense, it's almost more successful than James Bond, where they're just desperately trying to scrape ideas from the state of, oh crap, who wrote the James Bond novels?
Ian Fleming.
Ian Fleming, thank you. I kept thinking of Roald Dahl. So,
Yeah.
I know there were drinking buddies, and they both
James Bond and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
You know, that's the.
Yeah, isn't the Godzilla franchise the most prolific? Like, there's more Godzilla movies than any other franchise.
movie-wise, yes. Although overall, I think Godzilla definitely pales in comparison to Star Wars or the DC comic characters. But
Well,
yes,
no, what I mean is, so what? There's 33 Godzilla movies.
no, 35 at least, and I am
Yeah.
counting the American
That's like
movies.
the most, right?
Yeah.
Out of every, like,
Yeah.
there's more of those than James Bond or Star Wars
Yeah.
or anything else, right?
Yeah, and they have a wonderful variety too. It's like, oh, we should do some more live watches of some of the Godzilla movies, and make fun of them like we did King Kong. Sacrilege.
That was fun.
Yes, oh god, it's like if I need background noise, just hearing us make fun of the movie. I love your bit about, it's like, and over here we got a stegosaur that refuses to die, and over here we're walking, and over there.
We're walking, we're walking some more. You might want to walk around that hole because it has dinosaur dung.
Yeah. Oh, okay, what we did was me, Wyn, Brayton, and Andres. We did a live watch of the original 1933 King Kong.
Nice.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, and there's two versions. There's the full version where we just kind of shoot the shit for an hour and a half before we get to the movie. And then there's a version where I just cut it down to the movie watching itself, complete with like choreating images. But that one I would highly recommend because it's a lot of fun, and it's just a lot of the jokes, because we try to be serious at first, but then it's like once you get to like the people in the venture saying it's like a dame on the boat, no way, it's like you can't help but kind of just laugh with the movie. So by making fun of it. So
Totally.
okay, but yeah, as you, this will be the last Ultraman Great image we have, but we do have Gazebo, the giant kangaroo, anteater, elephant, marsupial, forest god monster, or whatever his deal
Gazebo?
was. Yeah, Godzebo. So
Do they not call gazebos in Japan?
I don't know. This is just what they call the monster here. So, but yeah, he's also from Ultraman Great, and it's like I think that'll be the last Ultraman
No,
Great image.
wait, you're right. They call them pagodas in the East, don't they? Gazebos.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a bad name for a monster, but yeah, that's kind of the last Ultraman Great image we'll have tonight for Matt Perchetta if he's going to leave. Although if you are leaving, it's best we transition to a Gamera flying away.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out, guys. So thank you
Okay.
so much.
All right. No, thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no, next time we do this, we'll do it a little earlier if it's okay with you. But no, thank you. It's really awesome to always have a guest star on. So,
Thanks a lot, guys.
all right.
Hey, have a great night, and it was nice meeting you all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, now it's just us three suckers. Okay, no, we'll go on for another half an hour, but no, you saw She-Ra. It's like, do you want to spoil away? Because it's.
I won't spoil it away, but I'll at least say it's definitely worth the watch, and
Totally.
a lot of the pairings that I saw just kind of made me all warm and fuzzy. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah,
this
well,
happened.
to be perfect.
Oh yeah, man! Like every ship sails. It's awesome.
It's like, I will at least spoil one. Bo and Glimmer, just so cute.
I know. It's it's funny. For the longest time, I thought that they were gonna like pull the rug on her because like Bo and Adora have really good chemistry as partners and friends, especially in the last season. With Glimmer kind of becoming the difficult queen. So
Yeah.
But it's like I'm happy. Like I'm honestly surprised they went with the Catra Adora. That's spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it, to the two people in the audience.
Well, I
And
mean, they've been like
it makes
foreshadowing
sense.
that.
They grew up together.
Yeah.
They foreshadowed that like since the beginning, with the dip when they were dancing and all
Oh
that.
yeah, that was incredibly
Season one,
flirtatious.
The princess prom,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah, but to think that we now live in the world where a cartoon series ends where a truly sincere, lifelong lesbian kiss saves the universe.
Totally.
Oh god, and yeah, it's like that. It's like as not great as the world is. It's nice to know that at least fiction is improving in such a way that we can talk about these big ideas, that we can teach our children more positive ideas. It may not be realistic, of course, because the world is filled with bad people who just want to do bad things for the sake of being bad. But it just warms, like you said, every ship sailed, and it was a glorious fleet to see float to the sunset.
Yeah.
And the
Well, I mean,
beauty
it
of
was symbolic that kiss. It's symbolic of love will save the universe.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah,
Love
the
will
beauty
save
of
us.
it is it wasn't pandery as some franchises tend to fall into. It was actually written right. They took their time. They fleshed out each character. They fleshed out their bond, and it works.
Yeah, they actually have like a history, and you can see their relationship develop. It just doesn't come out of like the middle of nowhere, like in say, Legend of Korra or something. You know what I mean? Like suddenly, like you know what I mean? Like this one, you actually see it develop and like all of that. And so when it happens, you want it. You know what I mean? Like you want it to happen. You're like cheering for them.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's like it's also like kind of the cause of the original conflict. It's like now Katra's motives make a lot more sense because she didn't know what she knew what her heart wanted, but she didn't know how to express that mentally. So she became a supervillain.
It probably didn't help with all of Shadow Weaver's abuse and gaslighting.
Right. Now, okay, I like Shadow Weaver, and to be perfectly honest, even knowing that she did kind of was a child abuser, she was still a very complex and interesting character, and definitely way better than a lot of the bullshit that people try to give Thanos a clear pass for. But some people, I don't know, what did you think of the Shadow Weaver? How was that executed? Or handled, I should say.
She's a great villain.
Okay.
And a lot more fleshed out than her original counterpart, where it was just randomly appearing, casting curses and whatever. In this case, they kind of flesh her out. You kind of get a bit of her backstory. You kind of see how she does things in the Horde. But at the same time, you still want to see her as this kind of vile villain, because you see how poorly Katra is treated, where her light in the darkness became Adora. Because Adora was one of the few people in their childhood who treated her with kindness.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah. So, I wish we had some actual images to put on screen, but all we got is Gamera flying away. So.
No.
And the fact that Scorpion just full of positive energy. How are you on the bad guy's side? You're just such a cinnamon roll. I just love you.
Oh yeah, that was a good episode where she's reevaluating her life, and then when it's like their robot friend Emily is threatened, it's like, okay, that's it. I can't be here anymore. So.
Yeah, when she switches sides.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, and it's so hilarious when she just shows up at the palace. It's like, hi guys, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So.
See, I think Shadow Weaver was so getting back to Shadow Weaver, she was like, I think that the whole thing behind that is sort of like when you realize your parents are human, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So she's sort of like addicted to magic a little bit in the same way that like your person may be addicted to like drugs or alcohol,
Right.
So the thing she does is to like basically, try to increase her power. So that's the whole reason why she joins with Hordak, you know what I mean? Which is not too far away from like a single mother shacking up with some scumbag, because she needs money. You know what I mean? Like, it's really not
what a
that
very
far away
elegant
from
way to put it.
Seriously, like, think about how many stories, how many movies and stories and have you heard of, like, you know, the single mom who marries a guy she doesn't love because she needs money to take care of her kids, and then her kids rebel and they hate the guy, and then the guy turns out to be a child molester. You know what I mean? Like, shit like that, right? That's basically what's going on in She-Ra, you know. You know, they join up with Hordak, who's like not a child molester, but he's like using children as soldiers.
Yeah,
right?
Child soldiers.
So so he's exploiting them for his own good, you know, brainwashing them and stuff like that, you know, but then, you know, you ultimately find out that Shadow Weaver also is, you know, the product of her own bad decisions in the same way that everybody is. You know what I mean? Like, she ends up sacrificing, you know, well, I don't want to give away the story, but, you know, she ends up getting redeemed at the end as well. And it, you know, you can kind of see, like, that whole scene, her like final scene, everybody is just like, you know, has that I'm so sorry look on my face. You know what I mean? Like, and it kind of reminded me of, like, say, you know, when your estranged parent is dying of cancer, trying to reach out to you, and, like, you go see them on their deathbed or whatever and forgive them for, like, you know, beating the crap out of you too many times or something, you know, like, that's what it kind of reminded me of. It reminded me of one of those sort of Lifetime story kind of things. And so that was really cool. But I think I really, really liked freaking Horde Prime. Like, a lot. Horde Prime was like the bomb in that, like evil. You know, like, well, like other He-Man villains, you know, and going for the other shows, they're all bumbling, and, you know, they're basically just like in all the other old cartoons, they're all just sort of mustache twirling villains. You know, Skeletor's one step above the guy in the top hat that, like, ties the girl up and puts her on the train tracks. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Yeah, he's like one step above that.
Yeah,
and
he's more fleshed.
Well.
If I may interject, but then he's more fleshed out in the 2002 cartoon.
Yes.
And now we're gonna get Kevin Smith's take on it.
Yeah, for sure.
With Mark Hamill as Skeletor.
Right.
The 2002 card, it was better written, you know, but I still think this, like, She-Ra is, like, even, like, miles above that one. To be honest. You know, and I'm saying this as, like, a majorly huge fan of Masters of the Universe. Like, this one is definitely the best. So, but yeah, I can't wait for Kevin Smith and to see what they're gonna do with it. I mean,
I have a feeling it'll be fleshed out, because if there is one thing that's evolved so much over the years, it's the writing for cartoons.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Like as even though I'm not on board with the idea of the golden age of television, animation is getting a lot better on television. In fact, I think some of the best shows on television right now are animated, whether they're whether they're for kids or, like, it's like the DuckTales cartoon is surprisingly great. The Steven Universe, Infinity Train. Oh my goodness,
that's a good one.
Yeah, it's holy crap. There are a lot of good. Even anime is starting to kind of become more accessible, and we're getting some really good titles out of that. But but no, I was going to say the great thing about Horde Prime was, first off, I'm happy they kept him, you know, pure evil, and they didn't, you know, fix him with the power of friendship at the end. And he was very irredeemable. It's like, even when he was trying to be kind and nice to people, you know, you could still tell he's a bastard. Oh, you son of a. And
yeah, it's just manipulating people and
not only that,
brainwashing them.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but the great thing about his character is, because he was the center of all that was bad that was happening, it made the other villains more forgivable and more likable at the end. So their forgiveness arcs felt more earned, because they're all the victims of this terrible Horde Prime and his machinations. So,
well, if you think about it, right, Horde Prime is kind of symbolic of institutional bigotry. Right. Like, seriously, there's like levels to this show, man. You know what I mean? Like, Horde Prime, you know, Horde Prime represents normalcy, right? But normalcy that rejects love in its purest form. So all he can really do is, you know, make people conform, and when they don't conform, he removes their identity, you know? So it's kind of very symbolic there, like people keeping their sexuality in the closet and stuff, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And
you know, Steven Universe has a lot of that type of layering going too, but yeah, this one, dude, you could seriously write like a freaking term paper on She-Ra, like for your gender studies class. It's really like got a lot going as far as like symbolism and all that shit, you know.
I know, and again, it's just the characters are so likable and adorable, and it's like on Catra and Adora ending up together. That was like the major win I needed, but. Oh my god, and they're so adorable together, especially somebody who was reviewing this series on IO9 brought it up and I didn't notice it before. Adora, even though she's our lead heroine and she's very heartfelt and everything, character-wise she's like the big dumb jock with a sword, isn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, she's not like a Mary Sue or anything, you know, like
yeah, because you see her struggle trying to control the use of the sword.
Right, and she has flaws. You know, she's not like the perfect, like, that's another thing. She-Ra in the old Filmation show is a Mary Sue through and through. Yeah. Does nothing wrong, you know.
Or in this one, Adora fucks up so many times, but she always bounces back from those fuck-ups. She's reckless and headstrong like any teenager would be. But as the seasons progress, you see her grow.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh man, it is such a.
And it's not all just magical transformation powers solves every issue. That's another thing that, you know, like in the other shows too. It was just all of their problems would just be handled when, you know, He-Man or She-Ra would transform and throw a big rock at it or something. Right?
Yeah, or, and in this case,
pick up
even the magical characters kind of have a bit of development. Like, even though I loved how goofy Madame Razz was in the 80s cartoon, I loved how they kind of made her this eccentric hermit in the reboot.
Yeah, yeah. So I have this fan theory that this show could take place thousands of years in the future from the Filmation shows, right? So check it out. Okay. So.
Oh, great. Big old nerd about to share his nerd stuff.
Yeah, nerd stuff incoming. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So the original She-Ra is Mara, is what her name is, right? And if you look at Mara, the character is Mara of Primus, which comes from the He-Man New Adventures cartoon. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It was like a sequel to the Filmation cartoon that they made in 1990, and they had another toy line, and it just bombed.
Yeah, I remember. He-Man had a ponytail and pants in that adaptation.
Right, right. And Skeletor was a lot more comical than he was before, but in a clever way.
I mean, the show was okay, but yeah, it didn't do too well, right? So anyway, instead of Teela in there, they had Mara of Primus. That was He-Man's girlfriend, right? And
oh, I see. Okay, that's where that reference comes from.
If you look at Mara in this Netflix She-Ra, it's the same character. That's who she is. And in fact, if you look at they made a toy of Mara of Primus, the Masters of the Universe Classics toy, and it's the spinning image. Right.
Holy crap! I'm looking at pictures of Mara. You're right.
My fan theory goes like this. Sorry, what?
I'm looking at pictures of Mara. You're right. It's they're dead ringer.
They took the design from
just give her blonde hair.
Yeah.
So check it out. So here's my fan theory, right? So my theory is, okay, so New Adventures of He-Man, right, takes place in the future, right? So He-Man goes through time, ends up in New Adventures, and does this thing to fight Skeletor, right? And in that future, the people have they've immigrated from Eternia and landed on a planet called Primus, right? So they've like settled that planet, and it's like 1,000 years later or something, right? And they've kind of forgotten what magic is all about in that show. So that's why they bring He-Man there, because he has magic. You know, the power and the magic is what they call it, right? So So my fan theory goes like, okay, at the end of that show, Adam goes back to the past to go rule Eternia or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And since he leaves, they have to use technology to tap into the power of Grayskull, right? So that's so if you notice in Netflix, you know, the DreamWorks She-Ra, right? It's all super advanced science, right? So they call them the first ones, right? The first ones tech and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And it's all advanced science, right? But She-Ra still has to say by the honor of Grayskull in order to transform, right? I am She-Ra, blah, blah, blah. And they never really explain that. They give a throwaway line that about the Grayskull Squadron or something, but they don't actually say why she has to say by the honor of Grayskull. You know what I mean? And it's so my fan theory goes like, okay, they create technology in order to draw on the power of Grayskull in order to create She-Ra, right? And that phrase, they have to use that phrase because that's the original magic words, okay? And then so the order of events would go like, okay, they create all of that, and then they create the Heart of Etheria, which is a weapon, right? Well, why would they create this weapon? It's to fight the evil horde, right? So in the Filmation show, all right, I'll wrap this up pretty soon. I don't have, all right, I won't go on for too long. In the Filmation show, the evil horde is sort of like this kind of like galactic empire, right? And you only really see one little bit of it that's on Etheria, and the real leader of the evil horde is Horde Prime, right? But Horde Prime is just this big sort of like shadowy dude in a cloud with a giant hand or whatever.
Mhm.
You never really get to get any characterization from him, you know?
Mhm.
And he's just sort of like put his idiot brother Hordak in charge of Etheria, and that's why he keeps losing or whatever, right? So
Damn
yeah,
it,
like Horde
Steve
Prime-
Hordak, you're ruining it. Sorry, boss.
Horde Prime is very much like he's like the claw from Inspector Gadget. You know, you don't really, right? You don't really see him. So my fan theory is this Horde Prime is the same Horde Prime that's in Netflix She-Ra, just like after like 10,000 years, like because they never show him. You know, they never show like how he got the way he was. And my theory is that he just started cloning Hordak over and over. Because if you look at Hordak in the old show and the new show, they look essentially the same. So it's like the design of the character is not that different.
Mm-hmm.
So it would make sense. Like, okay, so he just kept like cloning his brother constantly and using him as a host body. And that's why when they get all the way to the last couple of episodes of She-Ra, there's a big spoiler. He says that he doesn't remember She-Ra. Like he looks at her and he goes, I must have fought her in the past, but I have no memory of it. You know, and you go, well, how come? Well, because I mean, if you think about it, like can you, like me myself, like I got in a fight my very first day of school ever when I was in first grade.
Right.
I remember the fight, but I can't remember the guy's face, and all I remember his name was Mike. That's it. I have no idea what he looks like. If you were to put like a picture of him in front of me, I'd have no clue. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if you think like if you can't remember something from 35 years ago or whatever, like how would you remember something from 10,000 years ago? You know, like you wouldn't, right? You wouldn't be able to. And not only that, but there's a finite number of neurons in anyone's brain, right? So it's like eventually you're just going to forget shit. And then they even show in the show he has to access one of the other clones in order to get their memories. So there's a scene where he's like downloading memories from a clone trying to remember who She-Ra is. You know what I mean? So now, of course, this fan theory doesn't like tie up all the ends. I mean, it doesn't explain why these people have the same names as all the people in the past. Maybe they would be like hereditary titles or something, or maybe it's just a big freaky coincidence or whatever. Right. I mean, I don't think it would be that much more of a coincidence than, say, like Darth Vader creating C-3PO or something, right? Or Anakin Skywalker having the same astromech droid as his son 30 years later,
Yeah.
as his grandson another 30 years later. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
or Spock was the one responsible for shooting JR.
yeah, right. You know, I mean, I don't think it's
So
that big of a leap, you know, but then again, who's to say in 10,000 years there could be more than one person named Glitter, you know? There could be more than one person named Nedora. So,
Right.
you know, so I don't know. I mean, that's just something I know that officially these series are not connected, and it's not, you know. So this is very much a headcanon fan theory kind of thing, but it does actually kind of fit. You could like finagle it together, you know, into something that is like part of like a timeline. So anyway, that's it. Fan theory over.
All right,
Thank you for sitting through
cut to me
hear
and
my
Wyn.
talk.
Yeah, cut to me and Wyn sitting at like an off desk, like something out of the Shark Tank. All right, Wyn, what do you think of his fan theory? I give it a 8 out of 1,000.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I need to talk for like half an hour straight. But
no,
you know.
it's okay. Welcome to Live Stream of Consciousness. Everyone talks for half an hour straight. Especially me, this old windbag. But no, that theory, you know, it's weird. It's actually, it's a fan theory that doesn't piss me off, so instantly I like it. And it's cool that you know a lot more, because I never even knew there was the Mara connection until you brought it up, and it's like, oh my god, it's practically the same character minus slightly lighter skin.
Yeah, I mean, they even call her the same name. So I was like, there had to be some, at least there's at least a homage to that character there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So,
well, it's like, what is it? The weird shape-shifting cat creature in the final season. Miak?
right.
Yeah, that was actually based on a transforming blob creature from the original She-Ra too. I didn't realize that until somebody else pointed it out, but it is cool that there is that kind of vague connection, because obviously the real story is they couldn't do certain things because there were copyright issues, and also because I think,
well, Catra was supposed to have a mount, a pink lion named Claudine.
Okay, so in a weird
they
way,
made a toy of it, but they never had her in the show. But they made there's like an action figure of it, so I'm thinking that might be an inspiration also.
Yeah, like taking two characters and merging them into one. So
yeah,
like that two-headed guy from He-Man.
Right.
Darn it! I keep hitting the wrong button with the drum sound effect. So forget. There will be no more rim shots throughout the night, except for that one. That yawn counts as a joke. Rim shot. There we go. All right.
Sorry. I guess I'm starting to lose a bit of steam here.
That's okay. It's a Monday night. It's reaching 11 o'clock. So it's okay. So we are going to end things in like the next 15 minutes. So you guys have any last... Actually, we'll end things in the next 10 minutes because I thought Brayton would join us for the last half an hour. And it looks like that's not going to happen. And we, you know, it's like you need a Paul Lynn for this Hollywood Square. So... That's what... damn it, forget it. Everything I say is wrong and nothing's ever right. So, any last thoughts you guys want to share for the night while I change the title card to our tonight's sponsor, RC Cola?
Nothing comes to mind really, except definitely if you haven't gotten into it yet, I would recommend the She-Ra reboot. And stay safe out there. Wash your hands, and the next stream that pops up, I will most likely see you then.
Okay, excellent. And anything else you want to say towards you, Mark? You go next.
Please ignore the big truck running outside my window there. Well, I think I'm good. You guys can see me if you want to. I have a YouTube channel. God damn it, sorry. Right when I start talking is when a fucking big rig pulls up.
That is a big truck, if we can hear it. And you live on the second story of an apartment, too.
Yeah.
So I have a YouTube channel if you guys want to see me called Why I Hate the World. And then I have another one called UCD Videos on YouTube where I like play video games and open toys and talk about She-Ra and other things, movie reviews, stuff like that. And
And that's pretty much it. I have a webcomic at hawanja.com. Please come check me out. And that's all she wrote.
Right, that's all she wrote. Oh wait, I closed the rim shot. Never mind, forget that joke. Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, the reason I decided to do 2 live stream of consciousness for are we in June right now? Yeah, for June, is because I'm going to be very busy in July, so I don't think I'll be able to do a live stream of consciousness. And if we do, it's definitely going to be later in the month, like probably at the end of the month, if not the very start of August. But no, I just kind of wanted to bring in some new friends and all that. So with Matt Burkett, who's a cool guy, and you two are cool guys too. So you're all I gotta say, as crappy as the world is, though, life is still great, and I have some of the best and most awesome friends and acquaintances I've met both in person and online. So, and I thank you two for being, especially in these recent couple of months, of being kind of like the constant co-hosts. You are the Egg McMahons to my Egg McMuffin.
Anytime, man.
Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the live stream, but I'm going to play the music at the same time. So if you guys want to basically call it a night or keep talking, I'll join you in a little bit. But I will be leaving the chat just to play the ending music. So
yeah, I think I'm out of here, man. You guys have a good night.
Okay.
You guys have a good night, and thank you for having me again, Raph. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Wyn. It's likewise to you, and Matt, and not Matt, Mark. And Mark, it's always a pleasure to have you here as well. So let's definitely, I'll let you guys know if we try to do another one towards the end of July. But at the same time, I will say this, though. The idea of doing more live watches with monster movies is kind of a neat idea to do. Although,
hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I know you haven't seen as many Godzilla movies as we have, Wyn, and it would be kind of cool to see your reaction to whatever crap comes out of Japan.
Oh, dude.
Like, what kind of
We should do, what should we do? We should do Megalon, dude.
Oh my god, Megalon would be a good one. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's what we'll do. Sometime in July, we'll do a live watch of Godzilla vs. Megalon. So yeah, because that one's been riffed plenty of times. I don't think Brayton would want to do a live riff of it elsewhere, so we won't be on anybody's toes. So yeah, let's get the usual gang back together and suffer through that classic.
Totally.
All right, and we'll see you folks next time.
All right, see you later.
All right.
So, bye.
See you guys.
Good night.
Okay. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play the original theme song as our ending theme. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we're terrible at keeping on top of questions, but if you have any questions you want for maybe the late July show, leave them in the comments. Don't go overboard, though. Try to keep them limited to like 5. That way we can really, really get into them as far as subject matters go. But no, thank you to Jugless Juggler, Professor Kaiju, Brayton, and Monstrosities, Mark, and Wyn for joining us tonight. And to anybody listening to this in the future, we hope you enjoy it. This has been Livestream of Consciousness, and I leave you with more music from our friend Brayton Connor.
We can rise above, we are invincible! Take us down. Push the button, Max.
Not your superstition! 25